and welcome to Your Coaching Journey, a podcast for doctors about coaching. Whether you're a coaching doctor, a doctor who is learning to coach, or a doctor who would like to build coaching into your professional life, then this is the podcast for you.
Hello, I'm Tom Dillon, and with me today is my co-host and business partner, Helen Leathers. Good morning, Helen. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Of
yes,
course you
very
are.
excited about this week's podcast because it's going to be thinking about coaching in a different way and just challenging our thinking around coaching.
Exciting.
So yeah, exciting.
Tell me more.
Today we're going to be talking about how our coachees see us or how they might potentially see us.
Okay.
And use some metaphors, some archetypes around how our coachee might be viewing us, irrespective of how we show up as a coach.
Okay. I like archetype work, as you know.
Yeah.
So where do we start?
Well, probably good to think about how we see ourselves as coaches. And certainly in terms of our approach to coaching, it is very much showing up as an adult. Yeah. And having an adult-to-adult relationship with our coachee, that we're seeing them on an equal footing. We're not trying to be the expert in their lives. We're trying to get them to think about their lives in a very open and honest way, but showing up in Gestalt terms, they would call it the I-thou relationship. So we're meeting in the middle. The relationship exists between us.
And with no judgment.
With no judgment.
It's
unconditional positive regard.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's how we would want to show up. But I think it's useful to recognize there is probably always going to be a power dynamic at play because they're engaging us as a coach and will see us somehow as having some ability as a coach.
Yeah.
So even though we show up in that way, this conversation today will help us to think about the ways in which someone might be viewing us as the coach. So some of the archetypes. So I found an article that addresses this, and I just thought it was interesting and to some extent humorous. Potentially, well, yeah, no, it is. It's just interesting to think about. So I think one of the first ones, depending on how well the conversations go, they could just see us as a friend, which potentially, if you're working with someone every week over time, that could be that they see you as a friend. I don't really have friends, coachees that are friends, so that's not how I view my coachees. It's a business relationship, professional relationship. But they may view me as a friend. I don't know. I've never stopped to ask them. But yeah, I think on the whole, that's not a thing for me. But you have different relationships with your clients, and I think maybe you do.
I think there is that. Yeah. So in the past, I've run in-person events where clients have come along, and there's been a social aspect to that, and I think that there is probably a bit of a crossover into that friendship zone, as it were. So I can see why they might potentially see you as a friend. Yeah.
Well, they're talking about big life stuff, aren't they? Yeah. They're talking to me in a way that they probably don't talk to a lot of their friends. So I can understand why that might be a concept in their head. So I've never stopped to ask people whether they view me in that way, but potentially.
But what you just said there, I think that there's a possibility that people will say, oh, it's like talking to a friend. But when they actually think about it and they think what you've just said, they're talking to you about stuff that they won't even talk to their friend about. They'll go, so it's not a friend. So surface level, they might see it like that, but thinking about it more deeply, I think it probably they'll realise that it's not that.
Yeah, because actually their friends would just tell them what they think, wouldn't they?
Or tell them,
want to do that.
Don't do that. Oh, don't be so daft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to tell him. So I think it's interesting, isn't it, to think about.
Yeah.
That potentially that is a view that people might take of us. Another sort of role that they might see us in is as a therapist. So again, they may be talking about things that are deeply emotional, maybe big life events that they're going through. And I certainly wouldn't shy away from having those conversations with people, but that could feel to them as though, and I've certainly had people say, oh, it's like therapy, because they are going to that place of talking about deep stuff and emotional stuff.
Yeah. And I think, good conversations can feel like therapy.
Yeah.
We can come away feeling better as a result of them, whoever we have them with. So I can understand again that feeling of it feeling like therapy and potentially them seeing us in that light.
Yeah.
But of course, we're not therapists.
We're not therapists, no.
No.
And we're not doing therapy.
We're not trained in therapy.
No. But we're having therapeutic conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's just because the nature of conversation is therapeutic.
Yes. It's good to talk.
It's good to talk. Only people of a certain age will get that reference.
Will they?
I think so.
The BT adverts?
Yeah. I just hear it in Bob Hoskins' voice.
I don't. I've forgotten all of that.
It's just become part of your repertoire.
No, it's just a phrase, isn't it? It's good to talk. I don't know where it came from before Bob Hoskins said it.
I don't know.
Good.
So what's the next thing on your list?
Next one is a trainer. So seeing us as someone that potentially has more experience and knowledge and learning from us. And I guess depending on the type of coaching you're doing, there may be a certain degree of skills development.
Yeah.
Someone might come to a coach for. I don't tend to do that sort of work, but they might see me as that. And certainly, I have carried out leadership training. So people would see me, maybe people that I've coached have also been trained by me. So that's something. And obviously on our coaching training courses, I'm a trainer. So I am training people. And then I'm also coaching them in our practice sessions and things like that. So they might see me as a trainer. But I don't tend to train people in my coaching.
No. And I'm the same. I've been a trainer for longer than I've been a coach. And sometimes share information that might be useful.
I do remember one time, there was a lady who was new to management and had someone that was problematic in her team and just had no idea where to go with it. She'd done what she thought was the right thing to do and it didn't work. And she said, I just have no clue now. I'm out of my depth. I don't know what I'm doing. And I said, okay, let's pause the coaching. 101 management training. And like we talked about having a consistent message and following through on the consequences and things like that. So that was me going, okay, I'm going to pause the coaching because this is stuff that could be really. Now, I don't really want to give that message to new coaches because that's not coaching. And I was very clear about, okay, I'm going to pause the coaching now. But that's one session I can recall in maybe in the last 10 years where I've said, okay, I need to stop the coaching now for a moment and just address this. But they could see us like that.
Yes, potentially. Absolutely.
And obviously we may be introducing tools and techniques, metaphors and things that they will use and carry forward with them. And they go, oh yeah, he taught me that. Yeah. So it could be seen as that trainer. Good. Maybe as a facilitator so that the client may want us to decide what we're going to talk about and to lead the sessions in a way that we wouldn't normally. So, and I guess this maybe if someone has a program, they may well go, okay, today we're going to talk about values, and they may facilitate that discussion around values, or they may strengths or whatever. So if you do have a program that you've organized and take everyone through the same program, then I think you could easily be seen as a facilitator.
Yeah.
So the next one was a spiritual guide.
Yeah, I've had this before.
Yeah.
Because of my interest in spirituality and that area of life, and because I've run workshops and that kind of thing in that area. But when I'm coaching, that's not me at all. Nobody, I don't discuss my beliefs. It's not my thing. It's not me that's important in that role.
But I think people might see you as some sort of spiritual guide.
I really hope not.
they definitely see you more of that than me.
Yes.
They don't see me like that.
Absolutely not. No.
Which is a shame because I'm very spiritual.
You're really not.
How rude. I think I am.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's maybe a topic for a conversation another time.
Yeah. Mm.
But no, certainly people are welcome to bring spirituality into the coaching room. I'm happy to help coach around a spiritual path, spiritual journey, a spiritual exploration. I think as a coach, we hold a bit of a light and we walk the path together. And a spiritual guide, perhaps potentially, if we're talking about metaphors, would be walking in front of and we'd be following.
Yes.
With the light, if that makes sense.
And that's not what you're doing.
And that's not
definitely not what I'm doing. But at the same time, I am really happy to have conversations with people about their faith and where that takes them.
Yeah.
I would never shy away from that conversation. I enjoy those sorts of conversations.
Yeah, and they're faith is so linked with values.
Yeah.
And other aspects.
Yeah.
It's important to be able to have those conversations.
And I wonder whether people don't talk to me about it because they don't see me in that way. But
Maybe.
I'm happy to discuss it.
I mean, we have some very interesting conversations around that. So,
yeah. Next one. So maybe as a prophet or a guru.
Really? Is this on the list of how people see coaches?
So potentially, maybe have some special powers.
Oh, well, yeah, that is me. Yeah. Definitely.
So they will listen to our wisdom.
Like if we were running a podcast, for example.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So they might quote things that you've said. They might refer back to your wisdom that you've
imparted.
That's the word. Yeah.
That's possibly a dangerous area to get into, isn't it?
Definitely. Yes. Oh.
Okay, I don't really know what else to say.
I fancy being a bit of a guru.
Didn't your son once call you a cult leader?
He did, yeah. He said it. He said it is a bit of a cult, isn't it, Dad? It's definitely not. It was funny that he thought it might be.
I think he just saw a picture of you at a conference, and it was mostly women, and you were the only man, and you were presenting at the front of the room, and that was his comment.
That's a guru. Funny. Okay, so if you kind of shuddered a bit at that one, so the next one on the list was lover.
Oh God. Really?
Well, no, because again, it goes back to that sharing deep, intimate feelings and talking about stuff that really matters.
Okay.
And actually, someone listening.
Yeah. I can see that being that coaching is a space of love. Yeah. And you've recorded episodes on loving the coaching room. I am a little bit icked out at the idea of that phrase, how the coaches see us, and then using the term lover. Well, but I can see where you're coming from.
Well, and I guess it's not totally out of the bounds of reason that someone might be attracted to you as a coach.
If you're listening, and maybe other people, like you said, if other people don't listen, maybe something could develop there.
Yeah. So I'm sure I've told this story before about someone that I was training to coach who said to me, you nearly cost me my marriage.
Yes.
And I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, I got home the other night and my wife said, we need to talk. I sat me down at the dinner table and said, you're having an affair, aren't you? I said, no, of course I'm not having an affair. And she said, no, you definitely are, because you have never listened to me in the way that you're listening to me. You're obviously covering up for something. I said, no, it's Tom. She said, oh my God. And he explained that he'd been learning to coach. And that's
should we put a health warning on our coaching courses?
Yeah. Well, it's changing the script, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
There is a different script.
Yeah.
And, the script of people new to romance in the first throes of romance are that they're hanging on each other's words, aren't they? They're kind of there listening. What are they going to say next? And obviously in the coaching room, we are hanging on coaches. We have devoted listening.
Yeah.
You know, a few years into the relationship, maybe not so much.
I'm still hanging on to your every word. Are you saying not go mine?
Are you? When you're typing an email and I'm talking to you and you carry on typing an email, that's not really hanging on to every word, is it?
You just interrupted me talking.
But you can see how that might be a thing.
Yeah, okay. Can we move on?
Yeah, all right.
What's next?
This is a bit of a weird one.
It's getting weirder. Like, really?
They're not on my list. It was someone else came up with them.
Okay.
And it was just kind of from like a workshop, let's put it out, brainstorm, how do you see coaching?
Okay. And someone said...
Ghost.
What?
So the idea that someone was kind of shadowing them at work and that they felt their presence in meetings.
Oh no, I have had people say this about me before. You're in my head.
Yeah.
And actually,
There you are, you see.
had someone say that on a coach training recently. And they said that they were coaching in their practice trio and they went to ask a question and they said, I heard you in my head saying, pause. Just so they created more space in the coaching room,
lovely.
which was just lovely.
See?
I'm a bit...
Helen, the friendly ghost.
Okay. I do get that. I just think that's a weird label for it. But yeah, I hate to think I'm haunting someone.
Yeah.
But apparently...
They get weirder. Huh?
Oh, good. Okay.
I'm enjoying this, though.
It's an interesting...
So the next one is kind of remedial tutor. I think of this more as maybe a manager. Right. So that idea that someone perhaps is underperforming and they're offered coaching as a way to kind of work through it and get them to perform better. So basically doing the organisation's work for them.
And you have said this can happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Executive coaching.
Yeah. So the organisation says, okay, he's not doing very well. Do coaching with him, make him better. Instead
of us training him or performance managing him.
Or the manager doing their job of managing him. Yeah. So they kind of pass that on to a coach. And I think it's easy to get sucked into that. Okay, I'm going to make you do things better or more in the way that the organisation would like you to do them. But obviously the way we work with the coachees is to make them more who they are rather than trying to be something the organisation wants them to be. So that could be something that maybe in doing that, they have decided that they've got to do what the coach says is a good idea to do and that they've got to perform for the coach so that they get through their coaching and the organisation thinks better of them.
Yeah.
So that again, there's that power dynamic then, isn't it? That they feel like if they don't please the coach, then that will look bad for them from an organisational perspective. And I think there's always that little bit of, if you are working towards changing things to a goal, maybe, that if you have a coach that you're reporting back to, you may want to please the coach.
Yeah, and that can become a problem in terms of dependency and rather than autonomy.
Or just that, I mean, it could provide some extrinsic motivation for you to get the stuff done.
Yep.
So if you think, well, I've seen him on Friday, I best do that now. That could provide a bit of motivation. But it's, what we're talking about is really that doing it just because the organisation and the coach want you to do it rather than it being something you want to do anyway.
Yeah, not ideal.
No. So the interesting one for our audience is being seen as the doctor.
Oh, we don't want that. Not when they've been a coach.
But obviously our students will recognise this because they will have patients that come in and just treat them as the doctor and they want the doctor to tell them what is the right thing to do and advise them.
What's wrong with me? What do I do about it?
Which is obviously useful at times because the doctor is the expert. Obviously in the coaching room, less useful because we want them to think for themselves.
Yeah.
So if we have but I think it's problematic for our doctors who become coaches because they are seen as a doctor with some wisdom and some knowledge and some advice to give. And that then is difficult, I think, to make the distinction and say, okay, I'm no longer being a doctor, I'm now being a coach and I'm going to get you to think for yourself. I think that's kind of a tough ask. But I do notice more doctors taking more of a coaching approach. So I've certainly had my GP ask me in the past, what would you like to have happen?
They stole your question.
Yeah.
Wow.
About, I've gone with something and there's a number of options and they've said, well, what would you like to have happen? Oh, well, I'd quite like a referral to. So that sort of conversation, which I find really liberating and welcoming. So yeah, definitely but I say it's an area and obviously this bit of work wasn't done with doctor coaches. This was just done with coaches. So perhaps seeing the coach as someone who can remedy their ills. Linking back to what we were saying earlier, perhaps as an advisor, that sort of thing, teacher. So just giving knowledge out. And that, again, is not what we're trying to do within a coaching context.
Yeah.
But it could end up as a sort of teacher-pupil one. And then the final one was a priest or a confessor. So someone to actually get it all off your chest. Tell all your secrets to.
That's a slightly less weird than some of the ones I had.
Yeah.
And I can understand that if you build up really great rapport with someone that they're in that space, they feel they can share things with you perhaps that they haven't told anyone else. And
well, I've definitely had that where people have told me things they just haven't told anyone else at all. And I think more common is people telling you their worries.
Yes.
That they don't feel they're able to share in a professional setting with anyone else in the organisation.
Yeah. Yeah. Deep fears even I've had. And, as people's relationship with you increases, the rapport increases, telling you what the underlying thing is, actually, I'm feeling this. I think one of the sort of more emotional things that people come up with or share with me in coaching when they've coached with me for a little while, I've had this a number of times, is actually I thought this was the problem, but underneath it, I'm lonely. And that always hits me really hard when people say that, because it's a really emotional place to be. Yeah. So yeah, I can understand that.
So those are some of the archetypes, some of the roles that people might see us in as a coach when it comes to coaching. So not that we're trying to project that, but.
So it strikes me, first of all, it's essential to do our contracting.
Yes.
So that people don't get the wrong idea of coaching, think it's something, one of these, that it's not, especially for our doctors who are coaching. What is okay in the coaching room, what isn't, what coaching is, what coaching isn't. Understanding our own boundaries and the boundaries of other helping professions. Absolutely key here.
Yeah.
That's a serious point.
We still can't prevent them thinking about us in the way they think about us.
No. Awareness is probably a good thing. And I would say, if perhaps we're starting to think that these things are happening, supervision is a space to discuss and think about them. Interesting. You've been giggling away about that article since you got it. And you said,
let's do a podcast about it. Yeah.
And now I know why you've been giggling away about it, because it's quite interesting. And a little bit of fun, but also some serious things that can come up there as well.
Yeah, good. I have no more to say. I just thought it was interesting to draw that out and discuss those roles.
Yeah.
So something for people to think about as you're coaching. How am I being seen by my coachee?
Very interesting.
Don't spend too much time. Whilst you're coaching, don't give this too much thought.
No.
Perhaps focus on the individual.
You mentioned something in there that I wanted to pull out, and you talked about when coaches use a program.
Yes.
And I wanted to pull that out because that's what we're going to talk about next time on the
podcast.
We are going to be talking about working with a coaching program.
Okay. Wonderful. Yeah. Look forward to that.
Nice transition.
that was, a lovely segue into the next episode. Well done. Good. Thank you. Enjoyed that.
Excellent. Me too. Thanks for sharing.
See
Bye
you next
for
time.
now.
Bye-bye.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.